Hey guys, welcome back to Daily Insomnia. This is episode 312, coming from places unknown. Third episode in a week in the city.
Let's go. Let's do it, man. Hey, in the studios.
Wait, no.
Oh, my bad. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Don't interrupt me like that.
Restart.
Dude.
Okay, restart.
Just have a little bit more of a flow.
My bad. Restart.
All right.
Jump the gun.
Go ahead, man. You running it already. Go ahead.
No, just restart it.
All right, start. No. We're going from right now.
What do you mean? Restart it, man. Come on.
No.
All right. In the studio today, you seen him at Zanies. You seen him at Laugh Factory. You seen him at Demon Hour. Okay. He's also one of the hosts for the Roast Battles in Chicago. We have Kevin Kellum in the studio today.
How you doing, man? You guys got me boozed up before.
Dude, I feel like that wasn't enough.
No, wasn't
What
enough.
was
Wasn't
that?
enough
What am I
booze.
missing? Oh,
Wait.
I've got wrestling.
No, not even then.
Yeah.
K1 in Rockford.
Ooh.
Yes.
Right.
104.9 The X in Rockford. Yeah.
And if you're looking to get easy credits at Columbia, this is the guy to see.
Easy credits at Columbia. You're looking to get me fired at Columbia. Is what you're trying to do? No, I teach at Columbia College. Yeah, and then I work 104.9 The X, and then I do a wrestling work for a website called Sports Kita, and then there's this other radio station called Q101.
Oh, Q101, sorry.
Yeah. No, but I do both. So I'm gonna be doing both. There's some people who are confused about that. When when is this coming out?
This is coming out first week of December.
December.
Yeah.
So yesterday I announced I was doing the Q101 thing, and there were people in Rockford like, "Oh, it's so sad that you're leaving Rockford." I was like, "No, I'm not. I get to do both. They're just far away enough. Like they were. I think if I was a little bit closer, they would have been like, no." So as far as I know, I get to do both. So Monday through Friday, I'm on 104.9, and then the weekends I'll be on Q101.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. Yeah.
How many hours is that?
I'll go on at 10 a.m. and then I'll be on until 2, and I do it from home.
That's the crazy thing about it.
I do it from home in Chicago,
yeah.
but I go to Rockford at least once or twice a month. I'm there all the time.
But wait, how does that work though? Like your internet has to be amazing.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, moved in with the roommate. He's like, it's Tito. You guys know Tito?
Yeah.
So Tito goes, listen, my guy. Let me tell you something, my guy. So here's the thing. You don't pay for internet. Is that cool with you? I was like I'm gonna have a problem not paying for internet when I work from home. I was like, that's fine. And at some point, I thought he was gonna ask me to pay for internet.
Yeah.
He's like, no, write it off in the building. I was like, all right, great, all right, wonderful. And so it's a really cool thing that I just wake up and I do all of the things I want to do when I was in my room when I was 15. I now stay in my room and do I do in my room, which is weird. But no, Q101, I get to go back and be in a radio studio. So. Because I was doing radio through the pandemic, and doing it from home is the way I've been doing it for the last 3 or 4 years.
But wait, how does that work though? So you shoot it from home.
I record audio from home. Yeah.
Live recording?
Oh, like live to tape day of.
Okay.
So if I'm on air at 10 a.m., I start recording that at 8:39.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like if you like a late night shows, like they tape them at 5 or 6 p.m. They're on air within an hour or two. Or something like that. Yeah.
So it is pre-recorded then.
Yeah. But it's day off.
Day off. So pre-recorded. Okay.
If we say we're doing it that day, but I can change it. God forbid, insert band here is in a car accident.
Yeah.
We can change the show.
So you're predicting car accidents?
I'm not predicting car accidents. I'm not trying to final.
Do you know the traffic?
I'm not trying to Final Destination Green Day or something like that. I'm not.
Tom's about to die at 4. It's like, what?
Yeah. Stick around 10 minutes. We're going to tell you who died. I'm not doing that. No. But yeah, radio's weird. Everyone tells me it's dead, and then there's a ton of people that still listen to it. So that's fun.
Sure.
I think it's dead because I'm listening to it, of course.
Yeah. Well, you don't have.
But that's just a bubble thing. But that's like people saying, "Oh, I don't like podcasts." No, you just don't listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
It's like when people tell me like radio. I have my brother. He's like, "Oh, I don't listen to radio. I listen to podcasts." You know what podcast is? It's just a radio show that anyone can record.
Yeah.
With YouTube, anyone can make a movie. Now, are you going to make a movie that looks like a movie that's on a big screen that's like on a streaming service? Or are you going to make an indie movie that you can put up yourself and cut and make it work the same way you can? You can do a podcast like this with like this setup and make it work, make it sound good and have fun and do something you couldn't do on FM radio, but it's just radio. To me, doing a podcast is like doing a radio show with looser restrictions.
Yeah.
I don't have to hit certain time cues or something like that.
Are you saying that we have a chance at radio? Is that what you're telling me?
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
No.
No, but I mean, like podcasting to me, it's just like it's like unregulated radio. Like you get to break the format
Swear a little bit.
Yeah, and
You
also
can swear after 15 minutes. You know
after
what I'm
15 minutes, I will get them in there.
Next time we're
And
gonna put a
also
timer on
everyone
the
thinks like when you do radio, like no one swears in the studio. People are drop, like they get commercial copy and something's wrong or something's bad and it's F this and this is this person did, like there's that's the best.
Yeah.
It's watching people have an in studio freak out is really, really cool. But also I say that because I haven't been in a studio in 3 years. And now I'm going back to the studio tomorrow to do the show. As I'm taping this with you, I'll do my first show on Q101 in like 4 years. There's a lot of emotions with it. And I know at some point I'm going to be really, really happy. And then I'm also at some point going to like make a mistake and be like, mother. Like as I press send on the track and it airs and it's all that. But yeah, it's a wild up and down thing, especially with the pandemic. I got laid off in the pandemic.
Oh, so you got laid off? Because I was asking, like, what happened? Like,
I was with. It's Q101. It's always been Q101, but it was like a branding thing. It was called 101 WKQX, and it's a silly legal thing. If I go down it, it's just a waste of time. So like, and I interned at Q101. I was a promotions assistant. I lost my promotions assistant job because I was trying to do a comedy show at the same time, and they always just knew I was a personality. And I was like, well, what are they doing? I mentioned this to you earlier. We were talking about Starbucks, right? I did Starbucks for a little bit. I knew I was going to get fired from Starbucks, just trying to figure out where I'm going. I don't want to move back in with my parents. I'm like 30 something at the time. And I'm like, this sucks. All I ever wanted to do was do radio. And I'd done radio in like Iowa and other stuff like that. It didn't work out. It was just rough, right? Yeah. Or I got laid off, or all these different things. I came out like when the housing crisis happened in like 2008. Okay. I graduated. So like the whole market dropped out then. Yeah. You know, I was going to Iowa and they said, oh, we're going to make you full time. They told me that in like July. And then the housing market went to shit in August. They're like, that's not happening. You know? So years later, you go through all these different things or you make mistakes and you lose a job and you deserve to lose a job. I did because I was trying to run a comedy show at the same time while I was doing something else, being stupid, right? But the same people were like, oh, you're really, really funny. And we don't have any weekend people, and we need like a utility person on air. And I was just like, this was May, and I got let go in November. And I deserved to let go. I don't mind saying that. But I was like, there's no way you're going to hire me back. Like, even if you like me and you think I'm a good person, there's no way you're going to hire me back. And then the day I get out of Starbucks because I can't make a drink or I don't know. I don't know. I can't put, what is it, pumpkin spice or something like that? Yeah, I was like, oh, can we do like pumpkin spice in July? Like, no. Like, someone told me, like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah, but I'm the customer.
But I was saying to somebody I work with, I was saying to somebody I work with at Starbucks, and they were like offended that you would even say that out.
Of course,
loud.
Of course.
Someone told me, like, this isn't a comedy club. This is Starbucks. And I was like, seems like you guys need to go to a comedy club. That's what you need to do. But I remember like the day I thought they were going to like let me go from Starbucks, which would have been very depressing. I was like, and I had already interviewed for it, but I just didn't think I was going to get it. I was like, there's no way they're going to hire me back. I go home and I get the email. And in the email, the opening line is, against the better judgment of people that know your reputation. Like we are gonna like bring you in and have you do this. And then I did it. I got laid off in the pandemic and things happened. But then I was off air and I started doing 104.9 The X in Rockford. And I have a website job. I'm really passionate about pro wrestling. I work for them and I figured it out. I never had to go and get like a non-media job in the pandemic. Awesome. I always kind of felt like I was cheating something. I have that inferiority complex. You ever that where things are like everything? You ever people during the pandemic and they had something good? There was that sense of like, I'm getting away with this. Like I shouldn't have it this good.
I said it before. I had a sense like this is too good to be true. What's it called? It's a name. It's an actual word that you feel like this is too good to be true.
I don't know.
That was self-sabotage.
Isn't it what he just said right now? And you feel
it's an inferiority complex. It's like the idea of like it was like I want to do all these great things, and then you start to do it, and it's like surreal. It's like you want to be the quarterback.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes, it's imposter syndrome.
That's why I say
like I spent my whole life wanting to do radio as a little kid, and then I've been doing it for like half my life, and now I'm doing it at a certain level, and I'm like, oh wait, no, this is what you were always supposed to do. But then there's that idea of it just like you never get to go on the moon, you just get to look at it, you know.
Yeah.
And now I get to go to the moon again, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's fun. Do you guys get people boozed up this much every time you do the show?
All the time.
We've had a couple. We have a couple.
You guys are gonna be crying. You're gonna be. Our show has tears, laughs, and hugs, and a whole lot of margaritas.
Whatever you want to talk about, man.
Yeah.
No. We just want people to have a good time. That's all it is.
Yeah, but radio's weird. A lot of people just tell me it's dead, and it's not. There's so many people that listen to it. More people have heard me tell a joke that don't know my name on the radio than will ever see me do doing stand-up and stuff like that. And that's no rip to stand-up. I was like, and they know Q101, the guy on Q101, or the guy on the guy in the X 1049. Like, I understand they don't attach me to it, but we're more like a brand and stuff like that too. And I'm okay with that too. Like, that doesn't bother me.
Is radio still like, you know, like you have a moment, a segment where you're talking, and then next number one hit currently playing is Taylor Swift or whatever the case is. Is it still that, or is it?
I'm a man. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man who pays
Not Swifty,
taxes.
bro. Not Swifty.
I'm not a Swiftie.
Okay,
No,
okay.
I'm not. God bless everybody, and
God
she
bless
makes
America.
money and does all these things and brings joy to women who have a limited perspective of the world, right? and that's fine. I'm not telling anyone they can't be happy, but at some point, it doesn't need to seep into every corner of existence.
NFL, for instance.
No, I know a lot of people got mad about the NFL thing, but I'm like, whatever. All right, that's
They're
fine.
rolling with it. Of course they're going to
She's
roll with it.
dating a football player. Fine. All right. But turning it into my favorite football player is Taylor Swift. Like, shut up. Like, that's annoying. Like, that's me. It's me going to, like, a football game saying, my favorite member of Taylor Swift's band is Taylor. Like, if you, people are like, not like that. It's like, everyone gets, like, all butthurt and, like, silly about it. It's like, whatever, dude. But it's also, like, I don't know. I do the rock radio stuff. The music I play on the radio is music I like.
Yeah.
So, like,
Oh,
I
so
like
you-
the Foo Fighters. I like Metallica.
Oh, so you get to pick what place?
I don't get to pick it, but I have influence in the sense of like how I think it figures into what we're playing and stuff
Yeah.
like that too.
So who picks the music? Like what?
We-
You guys have like a
Most
AI that does it?
No. Some stations do, and that's awful, and they sound bad. AI is the so anyone who wants to do AI in the radio or also do AI content, you are slapping the people in the face who watch your stuff, who listen to your
We're
stuff.
talking about this guy right here?
What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
but I
The
think
AI,
dude, AI is-
Kingpin over here.
are you pro AI? You like
I'm
AI?
pro AI. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it.
I am not.
Not like
I'm a moderate AI. You know
you know what I'm
what
saying. I like how it can help
against
you
it.
out.
I'm against it doing anything that a human would do creatively or expressively.
Okay, for sure.
What if the human is yourself?
Yeah,
and
but
you're-
that's why I'm against it.
Yeah.
And I think if you use it to like a voiceover that's AI, sounds like absolute dog shit. You can hear it a mile away. It can't emote past 10 or 15 seconds. There's words it can't say. It can't say a certain word in a certain tone. It can't tell jokes. It honestly can. And anyone who tries to tell you it can. Can it read you the weather? Sure. Can it do traffic? Yeah. But is it going to be able to tell you how this Stevenson really is at 4:45? I don't think it can. I don't think it can tell you like when something's a really serious bad situation or a really funny lighthearted situation. I don't think it can joke about a mattress, on the Dan Ryan Expressway. Sure, it can tell me what the traffic is, but I mean, if that's the thing that's going to replace me, screw you. You chose the cheapest possible option. And you literally have, and it's not better. Like if you told me it was better, it's like, no, it's not. Like it's not better.
I mean-
I would take a college kid who just learned how to like turn a microphone on over. It's so lit. Like are we gonna take the TikTok video voice and try and have that replace people? Like, do I want to have the same experience?
Oh, you saw my videos, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. You're guilty of that shit.
Oh, I'm guilty as a
Dude,
motherfucker.
but do it yourself. Like, whenever I hear that stuff on TikTok, I was like, you can't just fucking, like, go ahead and just start recording your own. And
Right,
I
right.
swore too early. You can't just, like, go in and start recording your own voiceovers on stuff like that. It's your joke. It's your meme. It's your bit. Go put your stamp on it. Instead of, like, outsourcing it to, a numerical program that doesn't know why this
Could be-
guy falling down in a bar is funny or not,
Right. It could be a little bit of shyness. It could be like, oh, I hate my voice. You know what I'm saying? I've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we're like editing the podcast and stuff, like we get to the point like, dude, I've heard my voice so many
And
times.
I'll be frank. I work with people that use AI
Yeah.
and stuff like there's benefits to it. There's gaps it can cover and stuff like that. But I think if you're using it to not do the actual work, that's just it. You're just using it to not do the actual work. It can cover some different things. It can make it easier for you to do a format and do some production thing. And I can understand where that would make things more efficient. But the second you think that this is actually better than a human being, the AI artwork, you can see it a million miles away. It all looks like airbrushed stuff on a van. And it has the same vibe to it, And I'm not saying it's bad, but it's definitely not great.
It's good for support. Once again, it's good to support your idea, but it can't be the whole idea.
No, but I mean, it was a big thing with the SAG-AFTRA strike, where they're like, everyone's fighting over it because I was like, you're trying to like tell me that if I do a movie And I'm saying this as somebody who's been in SAG-AFTRA before. I'm not on the acting side. I was on the broadcasting side. I'm going back into it now to do what I'm doing at Q. Was like, you're going to use a model of my voice and make money off of me?
Right.
I don't want a model of my AI voice. Like, no. I mean, that's just my choice.
For
you
sure.
know? Now, if you ask me to do that and there's a parameter to it that's, all right, there's something I could work with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be fine with it. If I could do bits with it where I'm interacting with it myself, like, I think that's kind of funny. You know, there's bits I do on the radio where I literally pre-record myself, talk to myself, and, like, do that. That's fine. That's artificial in a way, right? I'm okay with that. But I'm just like, everything's got to be above the board. The second you try to tell people, like, oh, no, this is a real person talking to you, and it's not. It's deceptive. It's actively deceptive. It's that's the thing about it that just kind of like unnerves me. I'd much rather hear someone who's like new do that stuff. But I get it too, because it's just easy. It's convenient. Like, everyone gives up the convenience to it.
Less overhead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but my thing is like less overhead, but it's less people.
For sure.
It's
You lose
less
the creativity.
human. We literally just spent like this whole time worrying about trying to like interact with human beings more in our lives and engage more. You know what I mean? Do you want to listen to a podcast that's like 90 minutes long with an AI voiceover on it? I don't think so. Could you stand to listen to that for 30 or 40 seconds? Sure. This thing can't swim in deep water is basically what I'm saying. Creatively, it can. And you could do some CGI stuff with it, and it's AI, but you kind of know. You know what I mean? You ever seen and everyone's like, oh, it's going to get better and better, and it's getting better. Like, you see CGI stuff. You know what it is.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned to it like our entire lives, you know? So my thing is like,
we know what's good and we know what's shit.
yeah, but I mean, with the pandemic, can we just like enjoy paying people to make things that are good at making stuff?
But that's the problem. Once
You know?
again, a lot of people, overhead, more profits, like, they want to spend less money.
But then why would I want to spend my time on something that you want to spend money on?
For sure. No, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like why you don't even want to give the platform of this to a person. You just want it to be a thing. Like, I don't want to have the experience with like a movie or even a little video or anything. This is just me consuming stuff. And I make stuff all the time. Videos and content and podcasts. It's like, it's my job, right? I'm not even saying I'm great at editing, but the influence of tech on it is it stops being creative at some point. It's more about, oh, it just has to be efficient. It has to be this. It's literally a corporate person coming in saying, this is how creative should work for the benefit of a bottom line. I was like, we literally are saying we can't be organic. Like when you say about something, like I was like, so the problem is there's too many human beings involved. Someone who says that, I was like, well, what if you're replaceable? I think there's a lot of executives who could be replaced by AI before you could tell me that like a host could be replaced by it.
Yeah,
or a human being. I don't want to have the experience of like a teleoperator that like I go to pay my phone bill with when I watch a movie. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be like, you owe this much. All right, now I'm going to be the female lead in a film.
I don't know why, but that just took me back.
If
to,
he doesn't chase you to the airport, did he ever really love you? He doesn't even know how to say love. All right?
Do you remember Movie Phone?
Movie phone.
Oh, yeah.
Your movie will start at
Yeah, completely, dude.
Did you ever see the Seinfeld episode when Kramer he tries to compete with Movie Phone? This is the best. This is the best. Shout out Champagne Video Store, my brother's meme page. It's all just memes from Seinfeld, and he makes more money off the internet than I do probably. And he didn't even go to like broadcasting school to this comedy bullshit. But he lit me up on this one, and it was like Movie Phone was you call Movie Phone, it would tell you the times of the movie. Now you just do Google, right? But it was like this is in the 90s. He tried to compete with Movie Phone, and he put his phone number in the newspaper. And he would just read from the newspaper when people would call his phone number. But he tried to make it sound like he was a human being. Your movie will start at 5:30. But he just tries to talk to somebody on the phone like it's that. But I'm like, it's just so silly.
Wasn't 411 the kind of the same thing too, in a way?
No, 411 wasn't that Star?
Star something.
Yeah.
Star 67? No,
Yeah,
Star 67 is to call blocked. Or
Star 69.
Unknown
Star
caller.
69. I don't even know the codes.
That was like you would call the person who just call you back. Oh. Do you guys get this now too? With like people get nervous whenever you get a phone call.
I ignore all calls, dude.
What?
Anyone
if
knocks
you're
my
not-
door and any calls I
Yeah,
don't know.
if you're not in my contacts, I don't pick up.
Dude, if it's an out-of-state phone call, it better be somebody giving me a job or, oh, yeah, I owe you college loan. Like, I'm going to pay that. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
I get it. Oh, yeah, sure.
You want these $8? Come and get them.
Come and get me, dude. You know where I'm drinking? Come on.
That's the only thing you're getting out of my pocket, man.
I don't know. I know I sound like a bitter, weird dude about it, and like I don't oppose it, but like I get it when people say like podcasting. What is that? Like people like there's
Oh my
what
father.
what is
But
that?
but to be but to be fair,
now it's a very normal thing.
yeah,
right?
yeah, everybody has a podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody has a podcast.
Doesn't mean they have a good one.
No, for sure. But it's like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like to be. I mean, it was never that thing, right? It was never that thing where it's like, oh, you have a podcast, oh, incredible,
Awesome,
right?
dude.
It's never been that.
I just don't want to be like I get where I'm. I don't want to be like the old head who's like I deny technology. I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
these
yeah.
new things. I'm never like that. Like I'm not. But I just think AI is like it's regressive more than it is progressive.
Hey, like you said, it takes away from the human spirit.
Yes.
Oh no!
It
Yeah.
takes away from
Yeah.
his
But I
point.
mean, like when you
creativity, when it comes to creativity.
when you use it, is it just
I only use it to support what I'm doing.
like how do you use it? Give me
So,
an example. how you
an
do it.
example. So I use we use video AI for our clips.
Sure.
It just
but it does
all the captions. All the captions.
It just is the no the caption. Oh, that's fine.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Support.
Like I do the speak to the text in the
Yeah.
phone. That's AI.
Yeah.
You're like, and I was doing a bit about this, and I haven't figured out. It was like, everyone's like, oh, I don't listen to Spotify. I was like, but are you terrified AI is going to take your job? This is what Spotify is. The whole thing's built on it.
Yeah.
Like radio stations are using AI to like, all right, here's where the marketing lands. Here's what music is trending this day. Here's what's the trending topic that you can do, and that's done with AI. I'm fine with that. But the second you want to say that like a human being delivering that to other people and like talking to them, no, it isn't going to work. Because it isn't a human being telling you, God forbid, that Kurt Cobain passed away. I don't want a computer to tell me that.
Yeah.
I want somebody who likes Kurt Cobain
Yeah.
to tell me about that on the radio. Like imagine that in the 90s, people were aggravated. If God forbid Dave Grohl is in a plane crash or something, I want to hear somebody like share that emotion with me. I don't think This Is Lit is going to be able to pull.
You don't want to see
off.
that. You don't want to see that picture on Facebook where everybody changed their image to Dave Grohl. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? So what
And then
happened?
you're like, oh my God,
What happened?
I put my phone down for 5 minutes and I
Yeah.
missed everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you probably you said to me this before, where they're playing. It's in UK. They're playing techno. All of a sudden, the Queen is dead, and the music keeps playing.
Really?
Oh, I didn't say that.
When the
Can
Queen
you
died?
pull it up? Can you pull it up, Alejandro? Pull up. I don't know what it is, but it's like they're playing techno music. That's the whole radio station, and then they announce.
no, I know
guys,
what you're talking
the
about.
Queen is dead.
It was
And they keep
BBC.
playing.
I think it was one
BBC,
of the,
yeah,
it's one of the
BBC
BBC stations.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we break in to inform you the Queen has died.
And they keep
And then
fucking
it-
blasting techno music. Yeah. That's just hilarious. Like, it's not hilarious, but it's hilarious. You know what I'm saying?
Like, having to go on air and give like sad news is always a
Yeah.
challenging thing. Though. But I do think, but it's like it's one of those things where I'm like, I want that every day, even if it's not sad. I don't want someone else to explain that to me.
It's literally just it's a clip on YouTube or something like that. Maybe someone made it. Who knows? But it was put in BBC techno. The Queen is dead announcement.
I can do the gap fill stuff. How's Demon Hour been going, dude? I've had so much fun doing that show. It's so silly and playful.
I mean, that's the point, right? The point. The
yeah.
point is for, obviously we give the comics
First
their
one.
time to do their their set, but not only that, but you like in the confession part, like they can find material within it. If they if they really try it.
So I've hosted the show for you. I had a lot of fun hosting.
Yeah.
it.
Dude, we love you, dude. We love
It
you.
was,
the
it
way
was
you
so
host,
much
man.
fun.
Yeah.
But what's the confessions that you guys have had? Like you're like, can we even say?
We
that?
had one.
Where
I don't.
you're like, is like it's not even funny. It's
No,
just
that's what
weird.
happened. It was
yeah.
one show. It was I'm not sure. It wasn't yours. It was an outdoor. It was the one right before
Yep.
the one that you hosted.
I
And
did one in the summer with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was outside.
oh no, but you did two. You did two.
I did two. I did one indoors
He
and
was
one
a showcase,
outside.
and then when he was
Yeah.
Okay, so then it was it was between
Mm-hmm.
those two, and like somebody like they were like, hey, I was like,
Assaulted or something.
assaulted. Yeah,
It was really.
yeah. I was like,
confession.
they were like, I was sexually assaulted by this person, and then another
And that's
person.
awful.
Yeah.
But if you're up there and you're a comic, you're like, it's not like, no, I'm going to disregard this tragedy you've been
Yeah.
through. You're like, but I'm not going to make a
Who
joke
got it?
about
Who got that one?
I don't remember.
It was either but basically it was like a legit confession of like, hey, I felt guilty because I could have stopped this because
Oh.
that person had committed that act to me. And then I was like, oh,
That was
ugh.
deep. Like we respect it. Like
What-
appreciate you sharing
What's
this with us.
what's one of your all time favorite confessionals?
My favorite one, just because it's
I love
always-
how I'm hosting your show
yeah,
suddenly.
yeah, it's always funny. It's right. We became
I
guests on
can't
our
help
podcast.
it.
Yeah.
As a radio guy, I can't help it. I can't help it. No, but what was like your favorite one?
My favorite one is the one where it's like whoever's reading this is a bitch.
yeah,
Yeah,
guess that.
because it's just funny. It's just funny. It's just like obviously the comic enjoys it. Like we enjoy it. The crowd
But
enjoys
the
it.
thing is, they wrote that as if they wanted one specific comedian they thought was a bitch to
No,
do
no,
this.
it's
And then, but what if the person they like is the,
Yeah, right,
the
right,
wrong
right, right.
person?
yeah. It's the guy there's a guy who's always had the show who writes that
He writes it every time.
every time.
time.
All right, then I like that guy.
Yeah, yeah,
But
so
you know
it's
what? The ball busting part of me is like, I like that guy. I want to drink with that guy.
Yeah.
on the show.
Every time it hits, though, it hits every time. That's the good thing about it.
I do like that, but then you have this fun thing of the audience gives you one, and even if he's not there, you kind of have to have that in the show. Like that has to be like one of those like permanent things that like
Yep.
happens.
Yeah.
That's like is like a chestnut. It always finds its way into the show some way. Or
Luckily,
somehow.
we've been getting more confessions, and we don't even clear all of them. So it might happen that show. It might happen next show. Who knows?
Do you
know?
keep the confessions from one show?
We do.
Oh, you got all of them.
We have them all, dude.
Yeah,
We have them all.
you have them all.
Yeah.
You gotta digitize them.
No, it's all written paper. But like, I have an idea of like framing them
Oh,
with the Demon Hour logo.
yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and it'll be just cool just to have it like
merch.
on just the Demon Hour logo with
How many people do you think just flat out lie? Like they just put
All
it
of
on-
them.
All the time.
All of them.
all of them.
Except the
I
one
would,
that-
no, I would accept that one.
Yeah, you accept
right?
that one, yeah.
But no, I would say at least 90% of the people lie because they're trying to get a laugh out of it,
Okay,
right?
but do you ever like kind of like call them out or try and be like focus on it being like an honest thing?
Yeah, like I'll give
course
them.
I'll
I'll give them like on the box. There'll be like examples of what we want,
Sure.
right? But for the most people, like, people obviously they overthink it
Mhm.
because they're like, oh, I don't know what to write. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like
all the time, all the time.
I'm on the moment. Like I'm on. Like I don't know what to do. And I'm like, no, hey, just say anything. Literally anything. It could be like maybe you got mad early in the morning, or maybe something you've never told your boyfriend, or something happened to you when you were a kid. Not like any molestation or anything like that. But like just be fun. Like not be funny, but just like be surreal.
Get it out.
Say something.
I keep telling
Be
I tell
honest.
people that, hey, this is therapy, guys. Use it
Yeah.
as therapy. Just throw something out
Yeah.
there. Keep writing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's-
And it's anonymous, so like nobody knows who it is. I mean, obviously the comics are gonna be up like, oh, who wrote this over
Do
this?
you ever someone in the crowd immediately be like, "That was me"? Like
Nah.
their guard is down and they just say, like, and it's really silly or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
It's it takes about like maybe 3 tries, and someone's like, it was me. And I was like, yeah, of course.
Or-
There is that sense
course,
of like
yeah.
when I was reading them, you just want to immediately find
Yeah,
the person
yeah.
that wrote it.
Yeah.
Immediately, like when you're reading like it's always like somebody like there was 2 or 3 that was like cheating was referenced or like
Yeah.
infidelity.
A lot of
stuff.
cheating, a lot of cheating.
A lot of cheating, a lot of
Or
cocaine.
not in cheating. It was like, I dated someone who was like 20. I don't know. It was like I dated like my best friend's sister or mom or something,
Yeah.
like that. Not like things that are like you can't say they're absolutely bad, but they're like questionable or something. Like
Yeah.
that, I guess. But whatever, dude.
Yeah, I think it's so one of those things where,
Mm-hmm.
like, obviously, if it's a real event and it's something that actually happened, it makes it so much more compelling.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm good for whoever reads this is a bitch.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's the
That
best
that
one,
makes me
dude.
laugh. That makes me laugh. So
I like
I'm
the
good with that.
cocaine
You should just like
The cocaine ones,
a bunch
yeah,
of,
dude.
Yeah.
there's a bunch of people making drug references in there. Do you just like print it out now? You should just have it.
Oh no,
pre-written in
it's gonna go in there no matter what now.
No matter what.
because I'll start writing it if that guy's not there anymore. Because I know who it is. So like I know as long as he's there, that's gonna be in the.
Yeah.
In the
You
box.
should make it where, and if that comes up anytime, everyone has to drink. Everyone in the crowd
I'm
has to
not mad
drink.
at incorporating some type of drink. into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody mentions
You,
like
you guys incorporated drinks into this, man. You guys got like 4 margaritas in this before you started. Here I'm yelling at you, shaking my fist at the sky with technology.
Damn
Get
it,
off my-
Damn you, AI!
get off my porch.
Damn you, AI! I'll shake my hand at the fucking Skynet. You know, like
We get in there. We're getting
Yeah.
this guy real
All right,
quick.
but here let's take back control of this
Okay.
podcast
Take it.
because the radio guy took it from us.
I did. I took
So how did you get involved with roast battles? Because we
Ro-
know it's a
roast battle?
yeah,
Sure.
it's a California thing, right?
It starts in the Comedy Store,
Mhm.
and it's like legitimate beefs. Is kind of
Yeah.
the story that's been handed down
Oh.
from Brian Moses, who hosted the version of the show that aired on Comedy Central,
Okay.
and he's still involved with the league that we're a part of, with Roast Battle Chicago. So and it starts from there, and then kind of there's one in New York, and then there's one in Denver and Toronto, and now I think they're going to get up to like
Austin probably.
No, Austin just started like about a year or two ago, and there's talks them adding more, and there's like a playoff system, and we got robbed from the playoffs, which is bullshit, but it works like the AP college bowl system where you have to get voted. Yeah. It is subjective in that way, so I'm like fine with it. But it's fun in that regard. And then the show was called Sticks and Stones before with Matt Banwart and Chris Grieco, and they were doing it at the Lincoln Lodge. And I was just doing the panel a lot and coming in, goofing and roasting. And if a battle wasn't hitting, and comics going joke for joke with each other, that's roast battle for people who don't know context, right? I'm going to burp. I'll try and get it out here. I'm rebooting. My AI software is turning on. But no, it was like, so I was doing the panel a lot, and then they just said, like, would you want to, like, start hosting the show? So like, I'm not a producer on the show. Why you wanted me to host the show? You trying to bring me to the show? So I hosted on the show for a while, and then eventually they kind of brought me in to do, like all the special teams type stuff. Like, I kind of like, all right, can you help us out with booking this? And talk to
we first started seeing you, dude. We're like, oh, this guy's the face of Demon Hour. Or Demon Hour, I'm sorry, podcast. That's the face of Roast Battles, you know what I'm saying?
I could confidently tell you I am not the face of Roast Battle. I'm the big dumb head in the background, probably bumbling over chords or doing some mistake that I will be emailed or texted about after the show. I have no problem about that. And also we have a really good team of people that isn't just me or us on stage. Chris Grieco and Matt Bauer are just really forward-thinking guys. They kind of understand, like, how do you gamify a comedy show, and that's kind of what it is. Yeah. And we do different things. Like in LA, I think they do 4 jokes. We thought, well, if we're really going to try and put out clips and put out a bunch of different content, they thought of 7. Let's make people write more for this.
So each comic has 7 jokes.
7 jokes. Go 7 and 7. And then your comebacks don't count towards that count.
Okay.
It can get confusing to keep track of it, though. We kind of tell the comics, like, give us a stop.
Is it 1-on-1? Or
One-on-one.
Okay.
So you and I will go joke for joke, but I can kind of cut you back off, and then I go into my jokes.
So, are you allowed to cut them off before they finish the joke?
No, you don't want to cut off their punchlines.
Okay.
Like
Because, I mean,
but
that's
there's a lot of people that will start doing the comebacks, like, you look like, and then it's like, well, then where are we at in the count?
Sure.
You know, so when because imagine like you're hosting, it's like you're counting like where. Like a dribble, like are they double dribbling? You know, like that type of thing. So I that's kind of the safest comparison to it. Yeah. So like judging it is way easier than hosting it. Hosting is hard because you have to keep up with the timing of it and the framing and then you have to like run the panel and stuff like that too. But I love doing the panel stuff because everyone doesn't want to do their show because they don't want to lose.
Yeah.
And then they're like, but I would love to do the panel. Yeah, because you just get to sit and you get to judge, and there's no consequence on you, and then maybe someone makes fun of you a little bit, but it's really about them getting up there, and they have the weight of winning or losing. But I want us to win the league and be better than other cities. But I tell the comics, come and do the show. Just like come in and do the show. Like do not think about winning. I know you all think about it because it's like a dick measuring contest.
Yeah, for sure.
And every comic is a little bit of a narcissist. You don't get into it if you're not. And I do it. I want to win, but I want to just do well. I just want to go up there and be funny. The pro wrestling part of me is like, yeah, sure, I want to win. Mm-hmm. But the pro wrestling part of me is like, you need to put on a good
It's a show, man.
You got to put on a good show.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about just winning, are you really thinking about telling jokes? Or are you just thinking about winning? You know?
So how much information does these comics get about their opponent?
They just talk to each other. And there's research.
Okay. So like I'll give you like information about myself or
no, but you just come and talk to me like, hey, where are you from? What's your job? You know, like, and then also I think there's some people that do this and some people that don't, where there's things on the surface no one wants to talk about, or like, there's stuff with me, like, my brother is a police officer. So I was like, all right, a lot of people are going to make fun of me for that. I'm fine with that. I talk about it in my act when I'm doing my oral stand, but like, just don't make fun of my brother. You know what I mean? Like, so you got to make the joke land on me. If you use it as a premise, just make sure it lands on me. And there's some other things I wouldn't bring. Like, hey, all right, you know, now I'm working for a different company. I have to think about like what I'm. Do
you have to be upfront with the comic, being like, hey, this is the one thing.
Do's and don'ts.
Yeah, you can't talk about.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
you know, and if anyone,
but does everybody respect that?
Not every comic does that. Like the rules of engagement are different person to person, completely.
Oh,
completely. And we'll have people that'll do the show, and then they'll ask for something to get cut from the show, but they said it because they wanted to get a laugh on the show, but they don't want the clip out. I was like, well, then why did you say it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you said it. Now, if the weird thing is, somebody says something, you're like, I didn't want that out, and I didn't think it was okay that they said that. It's not like it's not like F them. It's like, hey, that's just like too much. Or it's like a personal thing. 9 times out of 10, it just involves someone else in their life, and that's when we're okay with it. Like, and there's been some stuff that we will take out of the show, but we don't want to. We put the show up on Patreon, Roast Battle Chicago. Go, subscribe. We have a whole bunch of free shows that you can watch online too, but go watch the uncut one on Patreon. It's on there, you know? And if anything's it's for a legal reason 9 times out of 10. Or we have to do the monetization thing too, where we have to like watch when we swear, where this is, and you know, there's times when we thought we were shadow banned, and there are jokes that people will say in Roast Battle that I would never ever myself say, but I can like understand the humor in it and just kind of pull away from it and allow it to be what it is.
How's the crowd overall when it comes to like, with the comics?
It's people want to see someone get punched in the fucking mouth. That's what they want to see. You don't go to the demolition derby to watch the cars just nudge into each other. You want to
let's get it, brother.
I'm going to watch the UFC and they're just going to hug the whole time.
Oh, dude,
this is competitive handshaking. No, you want to see someone get hit. That is human nature. That is human nature. This is regulated emotional violence. Is what
are you not detained?
Are you not entertained? And then you do like the thumbs down, like the Maximus.
Do ever like comics in general? Do they like you can tell when they leave a little bit butthurt? They're like,
oh yeah,
oh
yeah. I like that.
I like that. We oh god,
come back.
We have people that were butthurt before the battle, but that's the rant, like the anxiety of it too. Because you got to think like we ask people to do the show, they come and do the show, and we're at Zany's now, which is like this great club that has this incredible legacy.
Zany's and
we do Zany's 2 Thursdays. We do the first and third Thursday at Zany's off North and Wells, and then we do Zany's Rosemount once every few months.
So you're at the actual Zany's.
We're playing both Zany's. We're playing both Zany's. We do Zany's Rosemount once a quarter, and then
because for 312 you were at
we are both. Just because we have the upcoming Roast of Ken Flores, which was a wild, insane shit show of a show, and I mean that in the right way. That'll come out. We'll have that on YouTube at some point in December, I think, when this comes out. So just check our YouTube channel. And then we have a bunch of battles you can watch for free. And then if you want to watch the full ones, we have them up on our Patreon. And we have a bunch of full free shows up on YouTube as well. We have a show up with Jeff Ross. It's up on there. And then we're doing the Vixen and McKenna, which is beautiful theater. So the crowd
I was going to say,
the crowd that come out, they know the show. And it's weird to do a thing that you put up on the internet. And you guys have this. Like, you put it up on the internet and someone tells you they, like, watch your thing. You're like, oh, yeah, that's like why you do it. That's the imposter syndrome, right? And you see the numbers, but then you actually have to connect it with a human interaction where somebody says, like, yeah, I bought a ticket because I watched your thing online, and you've never met this person before.
Dude, I overthink people when they say,
God, yeah.
Oh, when they're like, hey, I like your show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Are you being served, sir? Sir, look at that. Look at this is a full operation.
I don't know.
But no, the butthurt thing. Like, there was a comic who came to the show, and this is last night. This comic came to the show, and I won't say the name. I'll get in trouble if I say the name.
Say the name, dude.
I'm not going to say the name.
Let him out.
Can you at least say post podcast?
I'll tell you.
Because I love when I hear that in a podcast. Other podcasts are like, I'll tell you after the show.
But it just happened. But it isn't fair to the person because I haven't talked to the person since it happened. All right. So they were like people get really competitive about it. Mm-hmm. And it's natural. We want you to be competitive. We just, like I said, it's the win thing, right? And it's somebody who gets really ramped up about it because you write just for this. Mm-hmm. You do those jokes, and then they're gone. It's like you're writing for an award show.
You know, they're going with their friends. They're asking their friends, hey, what do you guys think about this?
Yes.
They're asking family members.
And dude, all the time. Yeah. I live with Tito. Did the tournament, won the tournament. I can't hear the jokes he's going to do because I may be judging the battles. And I was like, I got to turn my headphones on. I got to go do radio in my room. Do not tell me those jokes. He's like, what if I tell you the premises? I'll tell you the deal. And I was like, okay, you can do that. I think that's all right. So, yeah, it was part of it. But no, when I'm hosting, everyone will run a joke by me at least once or twice before the show. But he comes by me, he's like, you're putting me up first. And I was like, why you put me up first? I was like, oh, do you need more time to write? Did you not write jokes? And like, I'm just calling him out for it. I was like, you had time to do this, you know?
Who do you say? Oh, go ahead, finish.
But he was
Yeah.
like upset that he was the first. Like, why were we the first battle? I was like, do you think being the first battle on the show is a bad thing? Because we do like a half an hour stand up, regular straight up stand up, just the panels.
Oh, so you do have stand up prior to the show. Oh,
So
okay.
the panelists each do like 5-minute sets.
Got it.
Okay.
And then they take their spot at the panel, and then we start the battles. So you kind of get like 2 shows in one.
Yeah.
It gives you more value, and allows us to have special guests pop into the show, which is
Sounds like Demon Hour.
Yeah.
it's hey
December 1st.
December 1st.
December 1st. There you go. Get the plugs in there. But he was like, "Why am I the first one?" And I was like, "Because we want you to be the first one." Like wrestling logic applies. The first match is the first and last match are the biggest matches.
You set the tone. You set the tone.
You set the tone, and then you close out. Those are the first best shows. And he was so upset, and he went up there, and he had a good time. And I wonder if he's going to tell me that he lost because he was in the first battle and he would have been more comfortable. I was like, so how much of this, while you're performing with someone else on a show with 13 other people on it, is about you being up there for 5 minutes? So you kind of like call people. Some people just get outwardly selfish. Comics are selfish. We're naturally like that.
Yeah.
Hey, people that don't know who I am, stop what you're doing, pay for drinks,
Acknowledge
and
me.
listen to me say things that I would say in therapy that are funny. you know, like there's an acknowledged, subscribe to insanity with stand-up comedy in that regard. And now let's make it a sport. You know, like let's, which has even more egos to it. We're constantly dealing with that, and we're never not going to deal with people not feeling that. And that's a lot of the messages that I have to deal with.
Is so at this point is it you guys,
in a good way. I mean that in a good way.
yeah. Is it you guys reaching out to comics or comics
Both.
reaching out to you?
Both.
Yeah. What do you prefer?
There's a lot of comics we asked to do the show and they don't want to do the show.
Really? Why?
What?
It's not their thing,
Yeah.
you know. Like
Okay.
it's like you're
Like
asked.
Demon Hour.
No, but it's not like a thing to your show. That's just not a format they want to play in.
Right.
You know, and there's some people we had to ask for a long time to do it where we thought they would be the right fit for it. And they're like, yeah, maybe. Or they sign up to do the show and then they pull out and they don't want to do it and they don't feel comfortable. We don't want anyone doing the show where you sign up to be insulted to do it if they don't want to do it. You know? Also at the same time, it's like, oh, I want to do it, but this is the worst. We get a comic, good comic, that I've asked to do the show before. And he's like, maybe I'll do it. And he's wishy-washy about it. That's fine. It's okay. And he didn't flat out say no. He's like, but I'll get back to you. He was like, that's okay. You know, I'm constantly talking to people about doing a show. Like I said, we have 13 people on each show in 90 minutes. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of slots to fill. So I remember I was doing a show with him some point, like a few months ago. And then he like brings up, he's like, oh, I want to do it. And here's the person I want to do it with, which makes it easier when they bring somebody to the table. I said, oh, so who is that? And I was like, this isn't a comic I'm aware of. And we're okay with doing it with comics we don't know, but we want to have some idea, have some level of vouch for them, even if they're a new comic. I don't want somebody who's never done stand-up to
Coming
go
out
up
the
there and
street.
do it
Yeah.
for a degree. Like,
Yeah.
But also, I'm not opposed to non-stand-ups doing the show. If you're a comedian or a performer, if you're an improviser, a sketch person, if you're a radio person, you got to have some element. Like I got to have, you know, but I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that. You know what I mean? And we haven't gone there, but some comics are like, you don't ever do that. So I thought that's the direction was going in. So I was like, I kind of going to deal with people being mad if you're bringing me somebody who's not a comic, but we'll do it if the person's funny and we can make it work. And he tells me the person, I knew that person was like a brand new comic, like less than 4 months in. And there's a lot of people who want to do the show just because we're booking Zanies. We're going to put some people up at Zanies that have never played Zanies before,
sure.
which feels really great to say you book somebody at Zanies that's never played it before. But I was like, are you booking that person because you're a 5 or 7 year in comic because you want to beat them? And I flat out asked them that. And I asked this person that, and you just saw him. This was at Demon Hour, actually. It was before the show started. I remember this was at Demon Hour. And he goes, and he was kind of like honest about it. You know, like I called his shot. Like I knew what he was doing. He goes, yeah, all right, I'm trying to do that. I was like, so you only want to do the show if you think you can win? And he goes, well, yeah. I was like, I don't want you to do the show if you just think you can win. Now, is that a major reason? We have a tournament. If you do the tournament, you want to win, so you can keep doing more shows, and we book you. And if you win the tournament, we guarantee you bookings through the year if you win our tournament. You know, like we guarantee it. And so I was like, yeah, I get that. And you should get that if you advance. I completely understand why Winnie's like, but on this individual show where we book you, I need you to be funny for this individual audience, not just, I'm going to circumvent this person, and I would really like them not to be funny. What does that mean?
Right.
Like, it's
Yeah.
like, would you want to ride in a car with somebody on a comedy show who wants you to be less funny so they're more funny?
Well,
if
it's
you
like-
each
it's
doing
like-
separate sets.
Yeah.
That would suck. So my thing is like, if you're up there and you're performing with someone and you each go toe to toe,
Yeah.
and then you win, and they're funny, and you both win. Yeah, that person gets to advance in a tournament or something.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
that.
just
In the tournament we do, that makes sense. Everything outside of
yeah.
it, just be funny.
There's
Make the crowd happy.
There's
Deliver
a great
for them.
clip. There's a great clip of Ken and Oscar going at it.
Oh yeah.
When,
Jeff
all
Ross is
timer.
there. Jeff
Jeff
Ross
Ross
is
was
there.
there. Yeah.
All time. I was on the. I
Yeah.
opened that show. That was an
Yeah.
all timer.
Yeah.
Ken, we did a podcast with Ken. It's up on our YouTube page, and Ken was not sober on that show, and we were.
What is he?
Yeah.
God bless you, Ken.
Yeah.
But we were not made aware of his level of intoxication until like relatively before the show started. And he tells the whole story because he didn't know. We couldn't tell people Jeff Ross was doing the show until like for sure until like an hour before.
Did he come out for that show, or he was doing something already?
He was
out?
doing the Improv in Schaumburg.
Got it.
Okay.
And we did the show in Lincoln Lodge, so that's about an hour
Yeah,
drive.
Yeah.
So we like up until like 8:45, we didn't know for certain that he was going to do it. But we never advertised him. That was part of the deal. Like, don't
Right.
advertise me if I come and do the show. Then it's
Because
like
you want people
pop-up.
to feel special.
But,
like, oh my God, Jeff Rice is here.
I think
Especially
we
the
told
comics, too.
some people got an idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Because he's in town and he's the roast master guy. So, but putting it together was logistically, God bless Chris and Matt. They put it together. My job was to, if anyone finds out, make sure they keep their mouth shut until 9:30. You know, because like once he gets off stage in Improv, we can do it. Because he already had Improv's not paying for us to do our roast battle show.
Yeah.
And there's no shot at the Improv, the big club that's paying for. Excuse me, I'm hitting the mic. While Jeff Ross is doing, so Jeff gets there, and then Ken and Oscar up there, and it's just an all-timer.
So-
It's an absolute all-timer. They're
Yeah.
throwing bombs on bombs and bombs on each other.
Yeah, and then obviously if you speak Spanish, you pick a little bit up.
When they get so mad at each other, they immediately start going into Spanish.
yeah.
Everyone who wasn't speaking Spanish, obviously me, right, was just laughing because we knew it got really serious. But you could tell there was this playfulness.
Oh no, it was joking around. Yeah.
And there's just all-time lines on it, and like my absolute favorite joke. I'm quoting it. Don't be mad at me. Anyone who wants to yell at me and yell "white man bad," it is Ken Flores, Mexican person, saying to other Mexican.
And I mean, I think he might be.
He goes. Oscar's a short
yeah.
guy. Oscar's a very short guy in comparison.
Both
to
short
Ken.
men. Yeah.
Yes, but like Ken's a wide guy. All right, he holds his weight. So Ken goes to Oscar. He says that Oscar looks like one of the Oompa Loompas and Charlie at the Willy Wonka chocolate factory who stole someone else's social security card. And it just
I remember that one.
murder. Got a standing ovation. They were the only people I think that has ever gotten a standing ovation during the show, and it was so good. And Jeff Ross was like, it was like an all-timer. And when we did that show, and the show was like breaking at that point, we were doing really, really well, and we were getting like some growing numbers, and we were starting to sell tickets based off clips, but we weren't like huge. We were doing like the biggest clip we had was like 10,000 views or something.
Really?
Like that.
Because at one point I asked you, what I'm saying, what you guys were doing to
When
to
Jeff
really-
Ross came in and did the show,
And that's
it
what-
was just like I wouldn't call it an endorsement, but like, and we brought him in and we had him waiting in the wings, and Jeff is the roast master guy, so you're like, you want to not just have a good show, you need to have a great show, and the show was sold out because I think word probably got out at some point.
I'm gonna interrupt.
And then he said it on stage too.
I'm gonna interrupt for a second.
Yeah,
Do you have room for this one in there or no?
I'm gonna have room in there now. I think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm
go
ready
ahead,
to
pass
party,
that on.
brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's
Okay.
pour it out. Let's pour it out.
And I'm gonna be rude. I'm gonna go take a bathroom break. I'll be right
leak,
back.
leak. Yeah, do your thing, man. Do your thing. So getting Jeff Ross in there, we get him in there, and in LA,
What an
as
honor, man. What a
I
fucking
mentioned,
honor.
at the Comedy Store,
Yeah.
they do 4 jokes,
Yeah.
and then at our place we do 7 because we want to be able to cut it for more clips. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I spilled already.
What an honor though, man, to get
Yeah.
fucking Jeff Ross. there,
We
man.
tell him we do 7 jokes, right? And he's already done 2 stand-up shows that night. And now he's going to judge our battles and just riff and have fun, right? And he asked me like, how many battles do you do? And I thought maybe we just annoyed him because our show's longer. Obviously, if we're doing 7 jokes per battle per comedian,
Yeah.
and there's 5 or 6 battles. And so he gets there as we're doing the pre-panel sets and everything like that. And he's going to walk in. He goes, how many jokes do you guys do per battle? And I could tell that I'm not happy to tell him that the show is going to be longer than he thinks it's going to be. And he's coming. He's doing a favor for us. What he's doing this, right? And he's absolutely doing a favor. And I was like, 7 jokes a battle. He goes,
14 jokes a person.
Yeah.
Or 14 jokes a group.
14 jokes a battle.
What is that,
without,
10 minutes?
Without comebacks. Without the comebacks counting.
What is that, 10 minutes?
But they go really far. It goes about 10 minutes.
Damn,
We knew about, but you'll do 5 of those in a show. Damn. So sometimes we're doing shows at 6, right? So I tell him we do 7 jokes a battle. And I'm very nervous to tell him this. And he goes, fucking animals. He goes,
oh,
guys,
that's all time.
He goes, you guys are animals.
Oh, that's all time.
And I was like, is that a bad thing? He's like, no, you guys just really want to do it.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's to hear that from a legend like you said.
But it was also, but he was also kind of telling us like, you guys are going really maybe too hard, which is fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I could see what he's saying. And it was just like having him do it was great. And
would you guys want to scale back on the amounts of jokes, or you guys want to keep going?
We were thinking about that. We were thinking about doing some other stuff, and we want to do something where we could get newer comics into some newer comics who are newer, and we have no opposition to this. I like the idea that somebody, because of the format, you can hide somebody who's a newer comic who doesn't have,
sure.
they only have like 10 minutes of material,
right.
but you give them this writing challenge of writing for one other person that they like or they're friends with. Hopefully they are.
Right.
When we do the tournament in March, that we can't guarantee that. They're going to be, because when they eventually start competing with people they don't know or they just know of. But I think we may explore the idea of doing something strictly for brand new comedians, where we do less jokes and we get a lot of people on the show, even more than we even do now. But when we do the tournament in March, it's 5 weeks in a row. Normally we do 2 battles a month. It'll be a tournament. I think we'll do 32.
That's what sweet.
The first night we do
March Madness.
Yes.
Yes.
The first night we'll do 16 battles in one night. So that's fun.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
And then who? So I'm assuming the judges vote on who wins every
each battle.
Right. Does the audience pay factor?
We have a panel of 5 because if the battle's bad, we have the panel just to make fun of them for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's happened. Yeah. When I started on the show, there was one show where I wasn't even hosting. I was just doing the panel stuff. And Grieco just gives me the look, like the nod, like, oh, is that like I get to go in on him? Okay. And then I just went right in on him. Me and the panel just went right in on him, like right as it ended. And we had a whole lot of fun. And doing the panel stuff is really fun too, because you get to riff around. And Zach Albers is this comedian from Savannah, Georgia. We had him last night. Zach talks real slow. All right. And that's just the way Zach talks.
Twang.
Oh, but it's real slow, like molasses. Having a conversation with him takes a while. And I just he goes up and he always says, like, I got 5 minutes. All right, I got to do 2 jokes. And so I go to him and I go through the panel, and we've already determined who won. But we'll still, if we have 5, even if they get the first 3, we'll still go to the other people. Just get in a joke in there. It's fun. And I go to him at the end. I was like, all right, so now we go to Zach. Zach, can you give me your thoughts on this battle in a timely manner? I just play very straight. He's like, no. he just took the biggest pregnant pause, and it was like so fun. And that playfulness, that like people at the bar busting balls, the way comics are like off stage, you try and like I said, lack of a better phrase, gamify it, like and make it fun. And we want that. We don't want people like leaving all butthurt. It's gonna happen. It's natural.
Yeah. I mean, people.
You go to a wedding. There's always somebody upset at a wedding. I wasn't involved enough in the wedding.
Yeah, I wasn't best man. I wasn't the bachelorette.
I was
too involved sometimes.
I was a bachelorette. You were a bridesmaid.
I get mad when I get invited. I'm like, don't invite me.
You don't want to be invited?
Yeah,
he's my best man. He's like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. All right, thanks, man.
Hey, you want to give this to somebody else?
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. I want no best man. I want none of that.
You ever been in a wedding before?
A tons.
Groomsmen?
Yeah. No, not really.
No.
Not groomsmen.
Ain't for your
Were
brothers.
we groomsmen for Adrian's? No, he didn't have any. He didn't.
No, yeah. I was groomsman once. I don't even talk to the guy anymore, dude.
Yeah. You almost slept with his wife.
Edit.
Edit.
That never happened,
Hey,
right?
Cut it back in. That's me. I'm going to put it back in.
I'm from a family of 5, and I'm the one non-married kid of my parents' kids. And my brother Brendan, he's wonderful. He's when he does Champagne Video Store. Really, Instagram. If you like Seinfeld, go check it out. And he's really, really smart and very, very successful and has a good job. And then he does something also funny on the internet. I was like, no, this is my thing. You can't have
I'm
a
the
podcast.
outcast.
You can have a podcast. Everyone has a podcast. Go get your own. Mom and Dad, make Brendan have his own podcast. Like that's the latest. So he asked me, and we're the closest, I think, in age, maybe. I mean, like wrestling and stuff like that. And I knew he was going to get married. And I knew in the back of my head what I was going to do when he got married, like when I wanted to bring him on. Like somebody's getting married, you want to go on a trip or do something cool with them, right? I knew what I wanted to do. And he goes and tells me, like, you ever someone ask you to do something at a wedding and it's clear that you don't get the imposter syndrome, right? You get that sense of, I was not your first choice. Like you have to feel it. And I felt this way completely because all my siblings are now engaged, and he's engaged at this point, and they're married. And my parents are older, so I'm like, oh, my parents are going to see me get married. I don't know. And like, you think that. I'm like, if I'm not getting married, fine. It's not the biggest thing, you know. But your parents want to see that. So, and I was like, oh. And when he was thinking that, I remember he announced it on the 4th of July, and then my smart-ass brother-in-law turns to me and whispers over my mother's shoulder, like behind her back, he goes, and there was one. And immediately I was like, now I got to do something at this wedding. I hope I'm doing something at the wedding. You know, I mean, it'd be cool. And you get that sense of it, right? And later that night, I'm driving back to the city with my brother. He's driving me back. He goes, so Megan and I want to know if you'll be the best man at our wedding. he said it like he was apologizing. he said it like he had to give an apology he didn't want to give, you know?
Yeah.
No, I was joking. He was just nervous, right? And it meant so much. And I said yes, and I hug him, and I don't say I love you. I don't say thank you. I say what matters. I say, we're going to WrestleMania. immediately I say, because in the back of my head, I was like, we went to big wrestling shows and stuff when we were a kid, but we never went to like a WrestleMania where you travel for it. Yeah. I was like, we're going. And I would travel and kind of cover them for work. And I was like, going to go and do it. And I didn't know if I was going to get like a press pass or anything, but I would just go. And I could do some stuff for work, even if I didn't get the interviews or anything like that. And I get the interviews. So we went to Dallas, and I would go up to like the Cowboys Stadium press box, and then I couldn't drink up there, but then I would go down and drink a beer too with my brother in the seats, and then run back up, and it was awesome. And then I went and gave a speech at his wedding. When you guys ever give speeches at a wedding and they think, oh, you're the podcast guy, you have to give like the entertaining speech?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. We're not that cool, man.
Yeah.
You're not that cool? You ever seen a really, really bad best man speech?
Nah.
I've seen a great one, but not a bad one.
You in the back. You see one?
But who's back there?
Yeah. Oh, the crowd.
Yeah. So I did do the best man speech. I doing stand up or something. I'll go eat a dick at an open mic, whatever, you know. I can go do a comedy club show and do bad. And I can emotionally handle it, right?
Detached from it, yeah.
But this, it was like you're doing like a Netflix special for your family. You know what I mean? Like it was like, you know, like when you talk about like people talk about doing the Tonight Show, and like you have this 4-minute set, and like if you do really well, this makes you. If you don't, it's not like late night TV's like that anymore. Maybe it is for a lot of people. Sure, for me it could be, right? For me, this was all the way more important than that. I was like, I had to go nail this speech. And I got to make all my aunts laugh and cry in 4 minutes. Like, you know, like I got to nail this. And I was so nervous. And my now sister-in-law, her maid of honor was there, and there was an issue with the speech, or like where the speech was. So she didn't have the actual printed out speech with her. And so they were like, right beforehand, it was like, can you do more time? And I've run the light everywhere, and I'm bad for that. And I just go, don't hold up a cell phone and shake it in front of me. I'll do it. I wrote 4 minutes. I wrote 4 minutes. I think I did 10. I think I did 10, and I crushed. Dude.
How many times?
I murdered. I crushed. And I went to the bar staff at the wedding venue. I was like, can you guys get me booked on the wedding next weekend? Can I just do the best man speech here every week?
How many times did you practice in the shower?
I didn't. I don't think I ran it through once. I think I wrote it the week of, and then made adjustments, and then I would kind of. But I would just. It was like a roast battle thing. I would just kind of like run the beats of it past my other brothers who were involved. I didn't run it past my brother Brendan, but I did get asked in a car ride for something beforehand by his now wife. It's like, you're just not going to do all jokes the whole time, right? And I was like, oh, well, do you guys not want me to do jokes at all? I won't.
Yeah.
But there's going to be like a whole room of people that are expecting some, or just some smart alecky thing, right? I think when you do the best man or the maid of honor speech, like one has to be silly or one has to be like heartwarming and stuff.
For sure. A fine combination of both, right?
Yes. Yeah, the little tear-jerkery stuff that you couldn't do. And
you're the brother who's wanted.
Oh, I did that too, dude. I snuck it in. Yeah. I got that in, dude. I got that in. I don't
say it enough, but
I got in a wrestling reference because we grew up watching wrestling abroad with the WrestleMania. My mom, we would have the pay-per-view parties, and then my friends would leave or whatever, and my mom would like,
you can't see me.
I can see you. And I smell what you're cooking. I smell what you're cooking. Finally, my brother has been just quoting The Rock the whole time. So, but we would have the pay-per-view parties when we were kids, and like my friends would leave, and my mom would just kind of like snidely make fun of us. And she like, did the good guy win? Did the good guy win the match? Did the good guy win the match? And I snuck in a line from my mom doing that all the time to say, the good guy didn't win, but your son did. And I just got killed. So corny, but like so corny and like
chills
perfect.
On my spine.
And like, but like so corny and so perfect. And like, I felt, oh, dude, when you murder like that, it felt so good. I was like, I'm all filled with hearts and rainbows right now. This is great, dude. It was such a good time, man. Such a good time. Someone's giving me napkins and stuff.
Yeah, because I'm a mess over here, man.
There we go. Yeah. Fun times, man.
Wrestling, man. Good old
I wish
wrestling.
I got into it, man. I was telling you before, like,
yeah.
My voice cracked, my bad. I was telling you before, like, dude, Kevin's probably going to bring out wrestling. I don't know shit about wrestling.
What do you want to know?
I never grew up on wrestling.
Is it real or is it fake now?
No, yeah. Tell me, man. Tell me.
I need to know.
You know what I'm saying? My story
the pain is real.
Yeah.
My story
is
is
real.
that when I was growing up, I was poor, so I didn't have cable. You know what I'm saying? I only had like 12 channels. Yeah. Wrestling definitely wasn't one of them. Pay-per-views, I didn't even know they had wrestling pay-per-views. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We didn't get the pay-per-views when I you would rent them.
Never got into it.
You would rent, but eventually, like when you're a teenager, like you guys get together and you throw your money together and you give it to your dad, so his cable bill isn't 4 times.
For me, it was like, obviously, I mean, I grew up with cable.
Yeah, I couldn't afford it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, guys. My dad's trying to save for a house. My bad.
I'm from the good side of Rockford.
We had money. No, but like, I mean, my
Park over here. I don't know.
Big Chesney.
My number one guy was Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels,
the Heartbreak Kid. The Heartbreak Kid. Dude.
Shawn Michaels in the 90s.
Oh yeah, dude.
He was an asshole.
Oh, dude, I loved it because he came out.
But
I'm
still
just
one of the
boy.
greatest of all time.
And then obviously Sting and the NWO saga. Yeah, amazing. And obviously you have your Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. You know, you can't put those guys to the end, but the Heartbreak Kid, dude. I'm just a sexy boy coming down a ramp.
Yeah. There's search engine histories based on his behavior in the ring. Yeah. His character was, I'm going to get your girl. Yeah. Like that's what his character was. He's like, I'm the hot one, and guess what? I'm going to kick your ass, too?
Yeah.
Oh! But then he was like a good guy, bad guy, but now he runs what's called NXT for WWE now, which is like their in-house developmental
It's
program.
like ECW, right?
Yeah. But I wouldn't say as extreme or anything. But it's like they have college athletes they recruit and they train them from wrestling. They have independent wrestlers that they bring in, wrestlers from competing companies now.
Wrestlers.
Yeah. So yeah, and my job for Sports Geek is I cover wrestling just like you would a sport. There's wrestling on 5 or 6 nights a week on cable television, not just WWE. The pay-per-views, everything. It's like no different. It's no different than like covering football.
We have a friend that we've known for years that he wrestles in the local scene.
Yeah. What's his name?
Victor Nestra.
Heard the name. You know what promotion he works
I think his nickname is El Mero Mero.
El Mero Mero.
Does he work with Gali? You work with the Gali Lucha group?
I don't know who he works with. I mean, I know he's like in the local circuits.
I do some stuff in local wrestling with AAW. And we run out of the Berwyn Eagles Club like once a month. I'll come in. I'll do like some production stuff.
I know
I'll be
for-
their faux reporter. I'll be like their mean Gene on scene. I don't have to get beat up, which is great.
Yeah.
Every time I go and do it,
Second
everyone's
Second City
like,
Showdown.
Second City Wrestling.
Yeah.
I probably know half the guys he's wrestled with on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Like him and his girl.
Axel Rico's on that show. Really great wrestler who's giving me a tough time all the time. So yeah, that's fun when you work with wrestlers and they know you by name. And there's a wrestler named Derek St. Holmes who would do commentary on the shows for AAW. And when I started, all they knew was they brought me in to do the interviews backstage and they put them on a screen. So even though it's an independent, they try and make it feel like WWE, which is great. Makes not so people know the storylines.
It's a show. It's a show.
It's a show.
Yeah.
It's a show, right? So I'm a part of the gravitas and all that different stuff, and I wear my suit and everything. I show up, and I'm just trying to be very serious, even though I'm a comedian, right? I'm going to be very, very serious. That's a character I'm playing. So they knew this, and they just popped the piss out of me. So I would just like loosen up, and there was Derek St. Holmes, big guy, comes up and he just put the shoulder, and he's like, "Oh, look, well, we got a comedian here. You got any funny lines?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "No, you don't have any jokes now, do you, buddy?" And he just walked out of the room, and then he would just keep coming back into the room between interviews and find a way across the room. Imagine if I walked across the room right now and just somehow just made some like slight like and not like I was purposely like that. He's like, "Oh, you got no jokes there, comedian?" And he just kept doing it the whole night. And I was just like, "I have a joke." I can't remember what I said to him. I said something. He was like, "That wasn't that funny. I heard he was a comedian." And he just walked out of the room, and everybody kind of knew. They were just like ball busting you and breaking it in. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun when you work with people that like get hurt all the time, but they have a sense of humor about it or something like that.
Yeah, you have to. You have to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go through a table with you. Hopefully, we're having a beer at the end of the night.
Oh, how about the light bulbs, the long ones?
Insane.
Yeah.
So that's some real shit then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, well, I mean, like back in the day, they used to like carry like razor blades, and they're like,
Uh-huh.
and they would just cut themselves, and that's how they would get the blood.
Bleeding.
Yeah.
Red equals green was the phrase.
Red equals green.
When you had territorial wrestling and you were wrestling in a town every month or every few weeks, you would have to do a hot angle to get people to want to come back the next time. So the psychology was a little bit different, vaguely the same. But you don't want to do blood for no reason. You want to do blood to add this level of intensity, or now you're rooting for the person who's bleeding, or you want them to get revenge. It isn't exactly the same thing anymore. Because you have some guys who get busted open hard way where it's not meant to. WWE doesn't want to do blood. AEW will do blood. Some people are very scared of blood, hepatitis and stuff like that too.
AIDS.
Yeah.
Old,
You said it.
Old
I
Magic.
didn't.
Old Magic Johnson. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Who are your top five?
Top 5 all time?
Yeah.
Hard. Bryan Danielson. Daniel Bryan is my absolute favorite wrestler. I'll start number 1, right? Number 1, him. He wrestles for AEW now. He wrestled in WWE.
Oh, he's a newer guy.
No, he's not newer. He's one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys that AEW was able to get from WWE. And he has a very pure wrestling style. Small guy who was forced to retire because of concussions, but did treatments, got back, busted his shoulder, busted his neck. Smaller guy, but if you saw him, you'd be like, that guy could wreck me.
Can you pull him up?
Yeah, he could wreck you, like if he wanted to.
What's his name?
And he's Bryan Danielson.
He's the guy dating the twin.
It was Daniel Bryan. He dated one of the Bella twins.
Yeah. Oh, he's not with her anymore?
No, they're still married.
Oh, okay.
He did the reality show thing and everything.
Yeah.
But I've seen him wrestle.
Yeah, I've heard about that guy.
He wrestled in a group called Ring of Honor, and I saw them wrestle like 10, 15 years ago.
Ryan what?
Bryan Danielson. Brian with a Y instead of an I. And so he wrestled. I saw him wrestle in front of 200 people at the Berwyn Eagles Club for AAW. 2009, he had the best match in the show. I saw him wrestle at the Frontier Fieldhouse.
Oh, okay.
I saw him wrestle at the Frontier Fieldhouse, 1,500 people, main event, best match of the show. I saw him in WWE, Rosemont Horizon, Allstate Arena, 15,000 seats, best match in the show. I saw him at WrestleMania, football stadium, 80,000 seats, best match in the show.
See,
every time I went to a big show and he was on it, he had the best match on the show.
And that's crazy because like I see this guy, he looks like a plain wrestler.
Yeah, but if you see him work,
but that's what I hear. That's what I hear. Yeah, that this guy is
and it's the tenacity and the passion, the emotion, the way he evokes in the ring. A lot of people are, you're just a wrestler. What's your character? No, it's everything you do between the moves and everything, that your ability to endure. And he's the best for me He's he's kind of a bad guy now, but he's the best fighting underneath babyface ever, ever that I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, it's crazy for you to rank up number one when there's been so.
But
many
he's just
wrestlers.
my personal.
That's what I'm trying to say. But I mean, for a fan,
In
'cause
terms of things I've
yeah.
seen, I've gone and like
Yeah.
my level of satisfaction when I left something and I left a match.
He
it was,
knows it.
yeah.
He knows the game more internally than, let's say, I would.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know
like
anything.
For me, no,
Yeah.
hypothetically, for
Yeah.
me,
He's
Stone
steak.
Cold or
Yeah.
The Rock.
No,
you know
but
what I'm
those
saying?
are draws, right?
Yeah.
And those are some of the greats. I have one of those that's gonna be on here. But like those are greats. But it's a level of satisfaction, like the way you go and you get an item on a menu, right? This is actually the best thing on the menu. That's the thing that's gonna bring them in. But this is the thing they're gonna talk about when they leave. That's what he is. Other on the list, brought up Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Number 2.
Come on. Oh, hell yeah. Son of a bitch fighting for the working man. Sipping the margarita. Too sweet for him. Coming from south of the border. What?
I know that.
yeah.
I know that.
Sto-
I know that much. You know what I'm
Stone
saying?
Cold's like the ultimate character. Like, I'm 40. He was the guy. He was the dude saying shit you wanted someone to say. He was flipping people off. He was the definitive, like, late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, like, and also a guy who broke his neck and then figured out how to keep doing it with a broken neck. And did, like, there's other guys who've done that too, but like adapted everything, and everything was about he's probably one of the best characters of all time. So when I brought my brother to WrestleMania, he came out of retirement and did one match, and it was just one match, and it was great. And he was not supposed to wrestle anymore because of his neck, because it got even worse. But he still did this one match, and it delivered. And they did workarounds and other things to figure it out, but it was like you didn't tell. It was awesome. It was fun. The Rock, Bret Hart. Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Saw him another one, SummerSlam 94. I'm 11 years old. I saw him versus his brother Owen, who you could put up there too. But Owen sadly passed away before I think he could really be like a single star, like a big single star. I saw him with my brother. Well, we keep going back to my brother. We saw with my brother. I saw Owen versus Bret in a steel cage, and it was so cool. And the psychology and why you don't do something, why you do something, why every move matters, why it looks like it hurts, but it doesn't hurt. You bring up the light tubes and stuff like that, deathmatch stuff. I'm not deriding it. Some people do it. I know some people do really violent stuff and they get over with it, right? But he was one of those guys where, yeah, you would get hurt doing wrestling. You're going to get hurt doing wrestling. But he was never like, we're going to go out there and maim each other. You know, like, yeah, I'll bleed. We got to do it when it matters, you know? But Bret, he's like the best technical guy in terms of like what he did with his technique and why it mattered. And he wasn't the best promo, but you just like similar to Bryan Danielson, where his conviction, like it was just so you could believe it. I'm at 3, right?
Yeah,
I got
3.
2 more now. Now I'm thinking of who gets cut. This is hard. Flair's got to be up there. Yeah,
Flair.
I could put in Ric Flair in terms of like success in the business and how long he was big in the business and.
Still at it.
Yeah, he's still involved. He can't wrestle though. I went to his last match. I went to that in Nashville, and that was hard to watch, but also like momentous. And I'm next to some people who are famous in the business, and I'm in a media area where I didn't know I was not supposed to be there. People were like, "You're cool, just don't take pictures or anything." But I'm next to people that like, wrestled him, and they're like bawling, and it's like his last match, and he's like had a heart attack, and he isn't supposed to do it. But he's like one of those guys who was in it for so long at such a level, and car crashes. He was in a plane. No, he was in a plane crash. They told him he would never walk again, and he was wrestling like within a year. So and that's the weird thing. Wrestlers are a different breed.
I mean, they take more punishment than probably most athletes.
Yeah.
Majority of
But
athletes.
also, like, you do it in your 40s.
Yeah.
NFL players are done by the time they're like, what, 41, 42?
Dude, NBA players retire like at 32.
I mean, but
Dude, NFL, you're done at 28.
sometimes, but there's
Maybe
some guys who figure it out right now.
Yeah,
you know?
some.
But
Very
wrestling, like your
1%.
peak is 35. If you're like if you're a big
Okay.
market guy,
Well, that's MMA right now, right? Kind of peak is your 35 for MMA.
32, 35, around there.
like, you choose your fights and stuff. Like wrestling is like you figure out the psychology. Sometimes it takes like 10 years to do it. I was like, that's crazy, but stand-up's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I felt really funnier at X amount of years in than I did 1 or 2 years in. You know? So
Yeah.
here we go.
You keep saying the psychology. What do you mean by psychology?
Why you do something and how you know it's going to get a reaction.
Okay.
What you do that you're not doing until someone sees you do it, and why you did it to get
So
it.
basically 2-3 steps ahead before anyone knows.
There are wrestling things I do in stand-up because I learned it from wrestling first. Why you move, why you make eye contact with people, why you bring them into what you're doing, but you know where you're going to land the plane, and then before they even know it, they're in your joke, but it's your joke, and you can do that joke with anyone else, anywhere else.
Yeah.
Radio kind of taught me that too. So it's like using all these other little things.
Right.
And people are like, you have tricks. You have little tricks. I was like, is it? Is it a trick though? There's something you can do that I can't do. That's okay too.
It's only a trick if you don't understand it.
Yeah, but it's only a trick if it doesn't work. It's only a bad trick if it doesn't work. You know, you tried that stupid little trick and it didn't work. There's times when I try and it doesn't work. You know, but you just all right. That's the risk I took. I jumped off the top rope and I ate shit. Okay, like people still laughing at me or booing or cheering. If they're quiet and I do that, then that's awful. You know, that's the worst thing in the world. So. I got two more, right?
One more.
Yeah, one more.
Right, because you went, Ric Flair.
People would say Hogan. I would say Hogan if I was like 10 years old, but I think there's a lot of people that probably eclipsed him. And Cena's probably as big, but I never like loved Cena. I saw him have great matches. This is hard.
I mean, you got Macho Man Savage. You got the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
Who else?
I haven't done the top 5 in a while. You do these. Yeah. You do these with comedy though too. But now I'm just like, someone's gonna clip this, and the Sports Kitty guy said this, and he effing sucks. And how do they pay him to talk about wrestling? And he said that. And
it's the Hurricane, isn't it?
So you have to do the obscure weird one, right? Shit.
Who's the guy with the sock puppet?
Oh, Mankind. I can go with Mankind. I'll just do here's what I'm going to do.
Well, is it Cactus Jack?
Mick Foley's great, but it's Cactus Jack, and he did the multiple people, and he's the original, real hardcore guy because he did it for psychology purposes. I won't do Mankind. I feel bad not doing Mankind because it's my top 5, right? Other top 5, Undertaker. The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Probably the best, like, we're going to give you a character, and can you be the character? And he's the most, I am the character. He's the most, when it's me, you get this. And that was another one. Went to the show, saw The Undertaker. I'm 11 years old. I was like, all I want to do is just entertain people. Like, when I saw that, I was like, that makes me just want to make people, like, feel things. And Undertaker is one of those guys that makes you feel things. And I was like, it can bring you, and on paper, it's ridiculous. I'm a 7-foot-tall goth guy, and I'm an Undertaker. And you're supposed to be scared of me. But then there's some people who are like, he's legitimately scary. Like, when you see him, he's a legitimately scary looking person. I was like, all right, well, that's convincing. But how long can you keep that going? When does that act lose its steam?
40 years?
30 years. 30 years, like knees, hips, everything. You know, like went through all that stuff. And it was like, it kind of like, I was like, oh, I love the longevity of something. Like, the older I get, the things I like when I was young, I still like. I was like, oh, if I'm immature, at least I have a mature sense of the immature things I like. I know that's a double negative. But, like, The Undertaker is, like, the ultimate. Like, that's it. Like, you do anything. That's the kind of career you want, where everyone respects the shit out of you. And they respect, even if you're not going to be able to do it 100%, that you're still going to try. Your body won't give you 100%. Your mind will give you 100%.
Yeah.
Like, he's the best at that. And, like, just awesome. Just like the coolest, legit badass guy you couldn't F with. He could, if he wanted, he could hurt you. So you could buy the credibility of it. And a guy who did it hurt a lot, like got hurt a lot. And just, but also lived the character. So there's so many balances in that. Oh, he's a real badass. Well, is he a cool character? Like, you got to spin a lot of plates there, though, too.
Yeah.
So that's why I say The Undertaker, too.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll end on this. The moment you found out that wrestling was fake, what?
Heartbreaking.
Because
Heartbreaking.
for me, that was the moment I was like, I can't watch it anymore.
It's not fake. It's scripted.
It's scripted. Sorry,
we don't use the F
word. The S word instead.
We don't use the fucking F word.
The age you found out.
Oh, I was a little kid. We wouldn't get the pay-per-views. I would watch it on a loop. And you would, like, Superstars would be on TV every week, and then I knew the pay-per-view was coming up, and I wouldn't watch for like a week because then you would get it in rental stores within like a week or two.
Yeah,
but you couldn't buy it; you could only rent it or something. So I have to not watch wrestling for 2 weeks, and I watch cartoons until we could rent it. And I would get it every week, and I remember I got a show, and it was Hulk Hogan versus The Undertaker, I think it was it was somebody else. Maybe it was the Undertaker. No, it was Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. It was a WrestleMania, and Hulk Hogan, of course, was defending America's pride against Sergeant Slaughter,
Who else but him, man?
who's now an Iraqi sympathizer during the Iraq War. You know, and I mean, as a child, a very young child, I was all gung ho. I'm all about the red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
And I understand how geopolitical issues can be brought into a show with superheroes and bad guys. It's so ridiculous. Wrestling is so ridiculous and over the top, right? So he does it, but usually when you bleed, you guys are talking about the blading thing. They don't show people doing that. They don't like put the camera right on the person, and it is one of the most questionable TV shots that WWE's ever. Usually their stuff looks great, the way they shoot it, the way they frame it, the way they light it. This is one of the most questionable. They have ringside cameras, and then people will shoot through the ropes, like into the ring from the ringside, right? And sometimes when the guy's like hurt, he's like right in the ropes, they'll do it right there, and they'll give you that money shot of him just like really in agony, you know. The Hulkster's going to come back, right? And they worked a chair into the match, and the referee's down, and oh no, and now the bad guy's using the chair, and Hulk gets hit, right? And I don't know what happened, but he's trying to turn his back to the hard camera that you would shoot from into the crowd, where you get that where they're running back, usually both of them framed in the camera wide, right? They have this now tight shot to him, and he's down on the side. You can tell, I have a sense of it, like if you're an adult, or a little kid, I can't, right? And my brothers were so tired. My dad taking me to the Blockbuster. One of the 4 videos we would get whenever we rent boxing, we didn't have cable TV. So whatever we rented from Blockbuster, we would have, and that's what we would watch for the 2 or 3 days, and we'd bring it back on the Monday or whatever, right? And I would rent the same wrestling tapes all the time. But I didn't rent this one because I heard people talked about. That's when you know it was, kids would say, and that Hulk Hogan Undertaker match, that's when you know wrestling's fake. It's fake in that match. Because something happens in that match. You don't want to watch that match if you think it's fake. I was like, stop saying it. No, you don't say that. You don't, I know it's a show, but you don't say that. You know, I'm all like a little butthurt kid. And my brother said, like, oh, we'll pick out the wrestling tapes this week or something like that. And they put it on, and they know what happens because he turns to the camera and Hulk blades. And you can see the referee reach over and, like, take the blade and put it in his pocket. And I know this because my brothers held my eyes open like this and played it on slow-mo and said, watch it, Kevin. Watch it. Can you see him? He's not really bleeding. He cut himself. Do you understand this now? Because we're so tired of you making Dad rent this Blockbuster tape. Some of these tapes we've watched 4 or 5 times, and you have to, like, eat up a Saturday afternoon in this. And I was like, I'm still going to watch wrestling. And I just walked out of the room. Yeah. I am what I am.
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's your thing. It's your thing, and you're like, fuck it.
But you make it. Oh, that's nice that's your thing.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good that you have your show.
I only watch the UFC.
It's good that you have your show where the men pretend to fight.
I watch real fighters fight, man.
I watch MMA.
Yeah.
I watch MMA. When we're on steroids, someone says, hey, guys, don't do that. Yeah, all right? Like, our guys are like trying to give each other concussions. Okay? Our guys are trying to give each other concussions. Our guys are concussions. You know, like that type of thing. Yeah.
I'm all about protecting the magic of it.
Yeah.
Magic,
no, but it's also if you know it's a show, you know it's a show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And people have known it's not legitimate sports since like confirmed out in the open since like the 80s. Yeah. It's an American pop culture thing. I know it's a huge part of cultures around the world. Japan has their own version of wrestling. Mexico obviously has Lucha Libre. It's an international thing. It's an art form. I have no problem. It's a form of storytelling with fighting.
I get every once in a while, like I'll see clips that pop up on Facebook, and I'll get stuck in the storyline, like the whole Rey Mysterio and his kid.
Yes,
obviously he's fake, but I'm like,
do you know?
He said, what about his father?
Do you know that's his real son?
Yeah, he has a real son. Yeah.
Do you know what happened recently?
Not recently.
I interviewed Rey Mysterio 4 years ago. He's going to go into like the last run of his career. He had been away from WWE. He's coming back. He went and did big lucha matches in Mexico away from them. He's coming back. And I get this interview, and he comes back to WWE. He gets hurt. He's had tons of injuries. And he's doing a charity mission or something like that. It was like a charitable program he was doing. So I'm interviewing him, and I know I have to talk about the charity thing. But there was this rumor that his son, who he did that angle with in 2005, his real-life son, where he had to fight for custody of his son against Eddie Guerrero.
Guerrero, yeah.
And they had a ladder match. And whoever wins the ladder match will win custody of a child. But guess what? Every person was invested, no matter, because the guys made you care about it, and it was so ridiculous. And the kid got involved, and this little kid with like blonde frosted tips in 2005 is now 19 or 20 years old, and he wants to wrestle. And that's Dominic Mysterio, and he got signed by WWE. And when I interviewed Ray like 5-6 years ago, he said the entire point of my career is to have set him up. And they win the tag titles in the pandemic together, which is weird. And then they had a match at WrestleMania, and Dom turned on his father.
Yeah, he becomes the heel.
They turned on him. They turned on him, and they built to this match, and they teased it. And I was there in L.A., a lot of Latinos in L.A., and people were like, they did a part where we got the belt and just took it to Dominic. Mm-hmm. Ray took it to Dominic. And people lost. People were swearing up a storm. There was a guy who was serving drinks at SoFi Stadium who stopped serving drinks and was just yelling things. Yeah, he was just yelling like profane things. Yeah. I couldn't understand all of it. But I was like, I turned to my one buddy Keith, who speaks Spanish. I was like, he's like, this is bad. This is what your dad reads when you get like an F. I was like, oh man, it was so cool. It was so, and I've interviewed Dominic before too. So he's probably the most hated guy in the business now. I don't know if that's what his father set him up for. He's like, you're gonna be a good guy. No, now you're the most despised bad guy. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's fucking awesome. I mean, like I said, obviously it's hard not to get what's the word I'm looking for? Fascinated with whatever's going on, whatever storyline is happening at the moment.
Oh, this happens on your show all the time. People just spill a whole drink.
Yeah, I mean, I've spilled like 3 of them right now, dude.
I think I have to do this. Oh, it's spilling because I didn't have the cap on. Thanks to the great people at Buckstar with their
in the suburbs.
The suburbs,
the suburbs. Yeah.
But Kevin, appreciate you coming through, bro.
It's been pumpkin spice the entire time.
Oh, the whole time. The whole time. We're the only ones.
I'm sorry if I rambled too long.
No, you're fine, bro. You're fine. I enjoy it. Yeah. I love the ramble.
Yeah.
The rambles, man. Thank you guys. Just check out what I'm doing. I'm doing Roast Battle, Sportskeeda, Q101.
Yeah, tell people all the links they can find you at.
Sure, you can follow me on Instagram at KevKellum6. It's KevKellam. I'm on Twitter. Some people are still on there.
The X, you mean?
Yeah, the X. I'm never calling it that.
Nobody is.
It's Sears Tower and Twitter.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. So I'm on that at KevKellum2. Back with Q101. You can hear me in the Chicago. You can hear me in Rockford on 104.90X. If you're a wrestling fan, like we were just talking about wrestling stuff, I do stuff with Sportskeeda Wrestling. Maybe I'm still teaching. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. We'll find out. But no, and support these guys. If you listen to this whole show this long, give it a like and share it.
Yeah. Perfect.
And on that note,
and then on this, obviously, we have Demon Hour coming up this Friday. So make sure you guys get your tickets before we sell out. We have great comics. We have Tito. We have Oscar Gabajar. We have Ty Riggs. And
Oscar told me how to say his name. He was he wanted me to emphasize.
Oh, he wants to go full at it. Full at it.
I was like, Oscar, I'm going to mess that up. Yeah. Don't do it to me, Oscar. El Cuchillo. I know I can do that. I can do the knife. I can do the little knife.
The little pocket knife over here. That's what I call it.
I was like, is that your mother's maiden name?
No, this is what he used to stab my dad. But yeah, guys, get your tickets for Demon Hour. It's going to be at Ella's in Maywood. So make sure you guys follow our link in the description. Obviously, we have in the description, we have links for Kevin. We have links for Demon Hour and links for Daily Insomnia. Tell the people where they can hear us and where they can find us.
Guys, we're on YouTube. Make sure to have a cocktail. Watch this episode. Watch our previous episodes. Join the journey with us. You know what I'm saying? We do this for you guys. We're in every podcast station possible. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, iTunes, guys. We're everywhere.
Also, rate the show. There's somebody works in podcasts. Like I'm saying this independently of these guys. Like when they're not saying it just because that's the thing you have to say. No, it really, really helps.
Yeah,
it helps so much.
It really helps. Reviews, rates, all that helps. Yeah. Of course, you guys can follow me on Instagram, Gamal Diaz.
And like always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Daily Insomnia. Sign off.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Hey guys, Ramon from Daily Insomnia. Thank you for watching our video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button right here. Watch our mixology videos up here. And if you want to see our latest episode, it's right here. Like always, guys, this is Daily Insomnia. Sign off.